Welcome into episode 114 of McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neal McCready. That is Tyler Siskey.
What it is, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I am good. I'm good.
I am rocking with the semi-frozen Valencia orange rainstorm today.
Semi-frozen Valencia orange.
It's really good, dude. Really good.
I need to give that a shot. I need to give that one a try.
We got plenty. Bob took care of us for Bob. Look, if we go into an apocalypse of some sort, zombie apocalypse, we will be able to out-survive everyone.
We'll be more caffeinated than the zombies
by drinking our BCAAs electrolytes.
As Tyler mentioned, we're brought to you by Rain Total Body Fuel. 300 milligrams, natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits and achieve your goals. So check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more.
And I see the Cooper Chevrolet chat, Neal, is already smoking hot.
I got to pull it up here.
So just remember, September has come and gone. The news, I called Greg, talked to Greg today. So the new deals for October are actually coming out tomorrow morning. So he's going to send me some good info tomorrow. But just remember to check out East Alabama's largest selection of new Chevy, Buick, and quality pre-owned today at Cooper Chevrolet Buick in Anniston, or shop online at cooperchevrolet.com. Neal, also, this episode is brought to you by Bushnell. Bushnell is known for its quality optics for over 70 years in the hunting, shooting, and tactical categories. They sell a variety of optics products ranging from rifle scopes to spotting scopes and binoculars, all the way to laser range finders and speed guns. Make sure we'll get Cole and make sure because I don't think we've got I tried to call Kelsey today. I know she's busy, but I got to figure out how to get this link into YouTube. But I'll get Cole in the social media under Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, post a link for you guys to go shopping and get your good deals on Bushnell products.
There you go.
How about that?
Did you have a good weekend?
I did, man. Had a blast. We'll talk about it when we get to the game, but took my kids to the Ole Miss LSU game on Saturday night.
Yeah.
And really legitly, probably, I said this on your deal, probably the best football game I've ever been to. Really exciting. Not a fan of any of them, but just I'm an offensive guy, so it was great. It was just
a lot of offense.
A lot of offense.
Defense. More than 1,300 yards. Yeah. Almost 1,400 yards of offense.
It was just defense was optional in that game. Just optional. It's like it was an OC's dream.
Yeah. It's at the end of the day, literally, Ole Miss got one more stop. That's why they won the game. They also created the one turnover. 1,400 yards basically of offense. One turnover. Ole Miss didn't give up a sack. Did LSU give up a sack? I think Daniels got sacked one time. Is that right?
I don't remember.
Yeah, unbelievable.
When
so
I'm
much
there,
offense. Yeah.
When I'm there, I'm so with the details like that. I have to go back and watch. I'm so on some of the details. Dwight, I know Dwight's been missing for a week. Dwight, I'm glad our resident troll in the Cooper Chevrolet chat is back.
Yeah, he and his other troll buddy were in my morning show chat today too.
Okay,
you're acknowledging more than I'm planning to acknowledge.
Well, Dwight just asked.
I'm out. I'm not acknowledging trolls. I'm done.
Dwight asked, "Didn't I coach in the kick six game?" Yes, I'm sure that was very exciting for some people. It was not very exciting for me.
No, cost you some money.
A lot of money, about 6 figures worth.
Not gambling money,
real money that hits the bank account on the 21st of January, to be specific. Yeah, that I didn't like that one. So I know Jeff's going to join us here in just a minute. Yeah, Jeff was at the Auburn Georgia game.
Okay,
he was on the sideline. So I think he was doing a pregame show. I think with Josh Pate.
Oh, really?
Game.
Okay,
yeah, so he was there. So,
Pate's everywhere these days. He's like picking a game a week and.
You can do that when you have 300,000 subscribers.
I mean, he's doing big stuff, man. He's killing it.
He's killing it. But what were you about to say? I'm sorry.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. I watched a good bit of Kentucky, Florida. Watched a good bit of Arkansas, Texas A&M. Then I left to go to the game, and once I get to the stadium,
you're done.
I just sort of lose track with everything else because I'm working and. I was telling you that in the press box where I'm seated, I'm kind of a distance from any television. And so to watch TV, I've got to get up and go walk over to it. And I just I don't want to do that. So I started writing basketball on Saturday afternoon. I wrote basketball from 2:45 until kickoff. It was good though. Yeah, I had some basketball that I needed to write. It was still there, so I just started writing.
I couldn't do that. I couldn't just shift sports when I'm there to do a football thing.
Yeah, I literally had it timed out just right. I wrote 2 things for my 10 weekend thoughts, and wrote a story on Alan Flanagan. Literally finished as they were doing the national anthem. And I was like, I timed that thing like a damn stud.
That's pretty good.
And then Ole Miss kicked off, and then got to, by the time I got home, it was midnight.
I got from my house, from my man cave to my seats in the stands in 21 minutes. It's pretty timing. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend, straight from his road trip, the minister of mayhem himself, Geoff Collins. How we doing, my friend?
Doing great.
Hey, did you see on? We just had a conversation about trolls. Did you see on Twitter that you were getting trolled for wearing a Philadelphia Phillies hat last week by the Atlanta people?
I did not.
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, they were wearing you out in the comments. I was like, that's pretty good though. When all you did a 2-minute segment on social media, and the only thing they could complain about was the hat you were wearing. So hey, that's they're just trying to say good job. That's their distorted way of saying great speech.
I love it. You see the Fire Up Chips hat today, a little Central Michigan love.
I see that.
I was going to ask what hat that was. Yeah.
They got a big win versus Eastern Michigan, so got to represent Jim McElwain. So, hey, and by the way, Tyler, he lives in a barn up in Mount Pleasant, Michigan. Now, it ain't your normal barn. That thing is tricked out. It is a huge party barn, and they sent me videos and FaceTimed after their big win Saturday, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, they beat our boy Kane 2 weeks ago, so he's kind of got it hopping a little bit.
He's got it rolling a little bit.
Yeah, he's got a little momentum created. All right, so we'll hop straight in it. First of all, how was you went with Josh to the Auburn Georgia game this weekend? And I was texting back and forth with you when you were in traffic. How long did it take for you to actually get there and get parked after I talked to you? Because you were like 5 minutes away, but it took you an hour or something crazy. What?
It took me from 5 miles away. It was literally 50 minutes.
That's insane.
And luckily, I got hooked up. John Cohen was with us at Mississippi State. He's now the AD there, so he took care of me, got me parking passes, and but if not, I would have been a mile from the stadium. But they took care of me, and I got to be there and on the sidelines the whole time. And I thought you were going to bring up the trolls for that part, because there was a picture of me and Kirby that was, I guess, trending for a little bit, and a picture of me and Hugh that was trending a little bit.
Where are you going to be coaching this time next year? Apparently, right? You coaching everywhere. Depends on whose defense struggles.
Who knows, man.
So being there, I know that was a good environment. Did you know that Hugh was calling plays before the game started?
I did not. And when you texted me that, because I hung out with him before the game, and they must have had, obviously on unofficial visits, there's a ton of great players, obviously. But they had official visits that weekend, and just the number of kids he was having to meet with before the game, shake hands, kiss babies, and then having to call an SEC football game against the number one team in the country. I didn't know that. That's it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's what I was talking to Kane about a couple of weeks ago. I had personally, this is just me, when you're dealing with the recruits, you're in a whole different mode than game mode.
Yep.
I had a very difficult time. And I can get you that's not what we're going to talk about, but just curious your answer. Like, how do you go? I personally had a tough time going from the, hey, how's it going? And just being on to football.
But you got to do the official visits early now, but that early signing period and all that stuff, you can't wait till your season's over and try to bring them all in late November, early December, because they're all decided. They're done.
Even when they're at the game, though, they're on the sideline, right?
Yeah.
And so you're out there in pregame. It's time to go, and you're over there like, rah, 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 rah. Hey, how you doing? Rah, 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 rah. Like, how do you? What was your trick? I was terrible at it.
As a head coach, you have a little more space to be able to do that. Obviously you're the lead recruiter for most of the guys, if you're doing it right. And, you don't have to call the game other than just orchestrate, the madness. So there's a little more, freedom to be able to do that. But when I was a play caller, and I was most of my career, I was a play caller, I would get into fighter pilot mode, where just very locked in, very calm, very serene. Which when you're having to shake hands and kiss babies, that's not the same. That's not the same mindset. Head strength coaches, head football coaches, you've got to have a little bit of, energy, juice, presence, all those kind of things. And recruiting kind of falls into that. But play caller, and Hugh being the head ball coach and play caller and face of the program, I'm even more impressed by the job they did against that great defense than I already was.
Yeah, I didn't. Full disclosure, I had no idea either until they announced it. I'm not surprised. I was joking. I sent Neal a text. I said, because I went on a whole tirade. Was that Monday or Tuesday? I went on a whole tirade about him calling plays. One of those days.
One of the days, Tuesday, I think.
I said, well, Hugh's still listening to the podcast. He does listen, so he got the message. The message got delivered. So
right.
All right. So I know you were at the game. You saw it live, and I know you've gone back and watched the coach's copy. This game was really, in my opinion, it was decided by one player.
Yep.
Brock Bowers was uncoverable in the second half. I think he went for 167 maybe in the second half. And I know you've gone back and watched the coach's copy. Like, what's your plan as a defense coordinator? What do you do? Because, look, you got to find out. It's no secret. That's who's going to win the games for him. What do you do as a DC to try to control him?
Well, first of all, hats off to Todd Hartley as position coach. The amount of information Brock Bowers has to know to play in that offense right now. I mean, he lined up as an end-of-line tight end. He lined up as a wing in 2 tight end sets. He lined up as the sniffer, the move tight end. He lined up as the running back. He lined up as the fullback. He lined up as the slot receiver into the boundary, the slot receiver to the field, number 3 to the field, bunch into the boundary, all 3 spots. Just hats off to his position coach, hats off to Brock, just being able to process the amount of information he has to do and then play at a high level. But one of the biggest things is, early in the week, finding all the different spots that he's in and building an automatic front and coverage, because they do certain things when he's at certain spots. Yep. So building an automatic front and coverage for when he's in these spots, here's how we're going to defend him relative to the entire scheme. Then you can have some blitz checks based on where he's aligned as well, because what he does when he's at those spots is very specific, and, I saw a lot of things on social media about bracketing him and all those kind of things. That's hard to do on normal downs, because they're very multiple, and you got to be able to defend the run because they run the ball fairly well also. But third downs is when you can put brackets, when you can double him, those kinds of things. So, have a comprehensive plan for all the different spots he lines up on normal downs, and then put a jersey tag on him and just, hey, we're doubling number 19 or cutting him or doing something on money downs.
Don't you know they got to play Kentucky this week? So there's some poor cat in Lexington, Kentucky that has to wear his number all week.
Yep.
And is just going to get the shit kicked out of him for 3 days. They need to give him a little bit extra bonus money this week, a little extra NIL incentive on the scout team.
What do you make, Jeff, of the Georgia offense? If you were attacking it as a defensive coordinator, sure. It's a little different than last year when they had Bennett and some of those guys. They look like they're really struggling to produce offense consistently.
Well, I think one of the biggest things is they just don't have right now, because of injuries, they don't have the running back depth that they've had in years past. They don't have the elite breakaway tailback that they've always had 2 or 3 of. And I think as the season progresses and guys return from injury, they will. So that makes it difficult too, not being able to just establish the run game and just line up and be able to, scare defenses because you have an elite tailback. They just don't have one right now. I mean, Brock's doing it. They've got number 86, the receiver, doing it at times.
He's probably the best one.
Sure. So it's just, and Dell McGee is a tremendous coach and recruiter, but it's just not there right now.
they had 2 get hurt before the season, but
And then Ladd McConkey, he's not fully healthy. You know, he's a tremendous player.
I will say this though, you know, Beck, kid's talented now.
He is.
Like, and I text him earlier today, and I was talking about this with some buddies today. Is like he is trying too much to not make a mistake on offense. Talking about the quarterback, young quarterback, but kid's talented. Just I was joking with Geoff. I said maybe they need to give him a gummy or something before the game starts and just let him cut it loose, because at the end of the game when they needed to score and he just closed his eyes and threw it to 18, that's when they were moving the ball. You know what I mean? Like he's like, all right, and he'd fit it in there. Like he's got legit talent,
and you can see him in the first half just watching it. There were some times Brock was wide open, but my man Carson was being a great student of the game, getting the play call, knowing middle field open, middle field closed, knowing first progression, second progression. And I'm like, dog, Brock's wide open. But, you know, later in the game, he, you know, figured that out and said, you know what, I'm getting my ball to the man.
There's a fine line at playing that position, a very fine line of being taking care of the ball or being just too careful and not let the players make plays. And he's good enough to be a legitimate difference maker on their offense. You got to let him do that. And I think you've seen it like with Ole Miss this year. That's where Jackson Dart, in my opinion, has taken the next step as a quarterback. Is he will, if it's instead of like, let me throw this ball away. Hey, let me go do something. Let the playmaker make plays.
Yeah.
And I think they've done a good job. So, all right. Next thing I want to talk to you about, because I know that this guy's near and dear to your heart. This guy's also near and dear to our good friend Chase Parham's heart. Former Vanderbilt running back, and now Kentucky running back, Ray Davis.
He had a day.
Took over an SEC game by himself and ran for 276 and 4 touchdowns. At one point in time, like late in the game, he was averaging like 15 yards a carry. I was going to let you tell a little bit about, first of all, about your past with Ray.
Yeah. So former Temple Owl, Temple Tough. I should have worn a Philadelphia Phillies hat today again, but he signed with us at Temple. We had, I think, the 35th ranked class in the country before I moved on and took a different job. But he came to our camp the summer before his senior year, and we had a big Memorial Day camp. And it's the first camp every single year, the Sunday before Memorial Day, which most camps are supposed to be in June, but we did ours at the end of May. And he came to it, and he was the best player in the camp. Nobody really knew about him. He wasn't highly recruited, but when we watched him during camp, and we'd seen him on film, obviously, but in camp, he was a combination of Maurice Claret and Ezekiel Elliott. I know they're both Ohio State dudes, but I was just blown away by the kid. And, you know, before you had the camps, and you and I both run the recruiting show, here's the times that the head coach is going to meet with all of these kids throughout the day. And I'm out there at camp, and he wasn't on my list to meet with. And I'm like, y'all better figure out something quick, because I need big Ray Davis in my office so we can talk a little bit. Got to know him. He's got a tremendous story about who he is, and I'll let him tell that if they've not told it publicly. But just we signed him, and then he ended up being a great player, and he's a tremendous young man too.
Dude, and I don't know how much. I know you probably went back and watched it. The takeaways from that game, watching that game, you know, Florida's the number 1 defense in the SEC coming to that game statistically, and they looked as lethargic as I've ever seen. And Ray Davis, it looked like, I'm not joking, it looked like an SEC team was playing an FCS team at the speed difference. I don't know what caused that, but he was moving at a different pace than his own players. And
you know what's coming from me here. I've been saying this for a while now, because they're not super flashy, and they don't talk a lot, and they've yet to get over the, you know, because they're in the same damn division with Georgia, and it's hard to win the damn division when Georgia doesn't lose but like once every 6 years. Kentucky, Mark Stoops has done an incredible job of taking that program from where it was, which was like a 4.5 win program, and making it like an 8.5 win program. And he's done it so consistently now that no one even really notices it. They were better than Florida Saturday. They were more physical. They won the line of scrimmage. They had skill players everywhere. Davis went off. They played with this confidence and a little bit of swagger that they. I mean, you guys again know more football than I ever know, but like just watching with my eyes on that TV right there, I was like, whoa,
it was different.
10 years ago, if you'd taken the uniforms off, you would have said, look at Florida just whipping Kentucky's ass.
Right.
And if someone no, that's Kentucky, you'd have been like, no way.
Quit.
And that's where we are.
Yeah,
and I was on the SEC network on Friday morning, and I was giving my hat.
I saw you on SEC network. I was at maybe it was running late, but I was at I went to go get me some wings, and I looked up, and there was my man on the old tube at the wing place.
Yeah, I was on there, and I was giving my hats off to Kentucky's AD for having such a friendly schedule in the Stoops era. And they do a great job scheduling their non-conference. But they showed up on Saturday, and they were the real deal. And, my perception, and even though I know those guys and I think they do a tremendous job, this game up in Athens on Saturday, this going to be a real deal matchup. I mean, this is number one versus, I would rank them top 15, top 10 maybe, based on how they've been playing.
Don't be giving away my make it rain Thursday already.
Well, we don't get Geoff again this week, so let me ask this: if I told you Kentucky won the game, how would you assume that they did it?
Just dominating defense, found a way to stop Brock Bowers, because if they can stop Brock Bowers and they can stop the run like they do against everybody, they've got a chance to have a day. Now, it's going to be tough sledding against Georgia's defense, obviously, but my main man Ray might have some extra confidence, and let's see what happens.
I think the one thing going back to the Auburn game, Hugh calling plays, Hugh has against that defense, knows how to move the ball on the ground. And I think he kind of laid some groundwork that Kentucky can kind of take some of those principles and concepts. And now Devin Leary, he can run it just as good as my man Peyton Thorne can. So, but you have to do a good job, and he knows. You got to do a good job running to the weak side. You got to get them formationed, shift in motion, and do some things, get some eye candy going. But look, man, I'm with you. I think this has got some recipe for some shocking stuff this year. Because if I told you, we've all watched it. Georgia, although they are undefeated, nobody's ever going to drop them until they lose because they've won so many games.
They've earned that.
They've earned it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But like, if Kentucky can repeat the exact same performance they just had, there's going to be some fireworks Saturday afternoon.
Oh, listen, Saturday's got a chance to be a seismic shift day in the SEC. Yep. I'm just going to tell you, Saturday's got a couple of shots at seismic shift in the SEC.
Yeah, there's big games.
Because that game in College Station.
There's a game up in Como. I don't know if you heard either.
And that one too. But
I heard that place was a tough place to play.
That's a little bit more of an arrival moment, perhaps. But the one I'm talking about is the one in Athens and the one in College Station, where we could look up at the end of the day on Saturday and go, the landscape shifted.
Yeah, it's got weird. The temperature's changing, man. We're gonna have a cold front coming through, man. It's got a chance to be weird on Saturday.
And I messed up, so I told my wife I'm going to go and see some SEC ball last Saturday. Well, we're going to New England Leaf looking this weekend. I might have picked the wrong one to do this with. I should have flipped it. So, but I'll find a way to get a TV in front of me.
I don't know what A&M's done differently up front on defense, but they look like maybe it's a couple of guys got healthy. I don't know. Maybe they're just being more active. But DJ had those guys kind of flying around on Saturday. They look different than they did early in the year.
They settled down because they got some real dudes up front. Elijah Robinson's the D-line coach. He does a tremendous job. They settled down and just they're too deep across the entire front. They might have 10 that can play in the SEC across that front, which is hard to do.
I think without question, it's the best defensive line in the country. In the SEC for sure.
Right.
I started to say the country, but their weakness is the back end. This league, and Geoff can expound on this, in my opinion, this league from here on out, fans are going to look up, use, the transient properties where, hey, they beat him, they beat that, all the stuff. This from here on out is about matchups. I think every single team in the league has weaknesses. How do your strengths match with their weaknesses, and can you get to it? Teams that can protect up front, which there's not many.
Nope.
But if you can protect, which is what Miami did. When you want to go back and watch that game, watch what Miami did to Texas A&M. They were able to protect the quarterback and throw the ball downfield because that is Texas A&M's weaknesses on the back end. If you can protect and you got a quarterback and receiving core that can attack that, okay, you can score points against them. But if you don't,
the quarterback can't even look downfield.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, that's what's interesting to me about
it's 2 weeks in
the
a
matchup
row
this week.
It's 2 weeks in a row, and I granted Auburn was one of those teams, and they're really struggling on offense. But that was 2 weeks in a row against A&M where the quarterback didn't have time to look down the field. He got back into his drop or whatever, or a shotgun or whatever, and he couldn't get his feet clean. There was nowhere to go. You don't have the ability to look downfield when you know that a hit's coming and it's coming from multiple directions and you're getting hit and hit and hit. And that's what I mean.
Yeah, KJ started looking to rush a little bit.
Sure.
For a way out.
Well, I mean, you start it's hard to throw the ball 40 yards down the field when you don't have it about 2 seconds and someone's hitting you at the end of one of those in the final second.
No doubt.
I mean, they might have some fast dudes, but they don't have anybody that's running like a 1.440. I mean,
that's fast.
That would be really fast. I mean, you
better get him up to the head coach's office quick at camp
right away.
Yes,
yeah. So
yes.
A&M interests me a lot. If you told me Saturday A&M and Kentucky were both shocking the world, I'm not that surprised.
Wow.
I'm not saying it's going to happen.
We got Moneyline McCready?
No, but one of those might be.
Oh, Scoops. Hey, did you know that Dion calls him Scoops McCready?
I did not.
Because he doesn't. It's so stupid.
I know Lynn calls him X's and O's McCready. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
By the way, when you go, I meant to get you before you went to your press conference. I was going to get you to ask another scheme. I had you a good scheme question to ask Lane, and he would have looked at you like, man, this guy's. You should have asked Lane why didn't he take a knee on the 2-point conversion at the end of the game.
Oh, he's already talked about it.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
What did he say?
Well, they were going to throw it, and he realized that's why they called timeout.
Oh.
And he said, we'll just run it, and he kept it simple. But he admitted that, hey, a fumble could have been bad there. But he was real worried about them throwing the ball. That's why they called the timeout. Yeah. Lane was mad at himself for not getting the signal in to Harris to go down at the 1. They were going to just
handed the ball. They had an RPO with counter on.
I was looking right. I was down on the field. I was looking right at Harris was basically running at me, and so Lane was right there, and he dropped to a knee, and it wasn't an exultation. It was, oh, God.
Hey,
we left 37 seconds on the clock or whatever it was.
As somebody who's coached receivers for 20 years, good luck trying to tell a receiver when he catches the ball that, hey, don't score right here. Hey, good luck. They don't get many of them.
Yeah.
They get a ball and a chance to score, they're probably going to score and be like, hey, go get them, defense. But anyway.
Home sliding, that's no big deal. He's done it 100 times. But
yeah, no big deal. He scored plenty. He's good. He just wants the dub. Well, dude, I appreciate the hell out of you, man. So, were you going apple picking or leaf watching? What are we calling this excursion this weekend?
I don't know, but I'm going to be smiling and happy and in a good mood and making sure my girls have a blast.
Look at you, man. What part of New England we going to? Like what state? I won't get you. I don't need your address or anything. But
I still don't. I'm letting management tell me what we're doing, and I'm going to go and have a blast, man.
I love it. Yeah, just show up, baby. Show up and smile, baby.
It'll be beautiful up there this time of year. God, it'll be gorgeous. It'll be fun.
Yep. I'll make sure I'll send you score updates as the day goes on, and you can show me videos of picking apples.
Done. I got you.
All right, brother. Appreciate you.
Yo.
That's great. Single solo shot. Hey, by the way, make sure show our new signage here. So our guy Bob sent us. We got all kinds of signage and stuff going up. This is the fastest thing we could get up.
That's what she said.
Oh, very impressive. I don't have those problems yet. 3-time world champion. But send us a bunch of stuff. I got a whole box over here. We'll figure out what we can do, what we can go put up with. We'll have this thing looking like a nightclub, Rain nightclub, if we want to. All right, Neal.
Yes, sir.
Do you know what time it is?
Time to go over our picks.
It's Tell the Truth Monday.
Tell the Truth Monday.
Tell the Truth Monday. Well, we tell you what we got right and what we got wrong. And we'll start with college, where Neal got a lot right and I got a lot wrong. Neal, we'll start with you. You went 7-4, counting the NFL.
Yep.
You gained 3 units. I went 5-6, thank God, because of my great NFL. NFL's like saving me from dying. I had a terrible Saturday, a good Sunday. I went 5-6, lost a unit. You have moved the lead. You now have a 5.65 unit lead.
Yep.
And Jared Duke, who played for us at Ole Miss when I was here, sent a tweet showing me some kind of house that had demons in it and stuff. Like my wife saw that and she said, like, with a straight face, she goes, "Will you get your shit together, please?" Because I don't. So my wife is now on my ass and putting pressure on me about winning this thing.
She's worried about what happens to you at a haunted house?
No, she's more worried about the demons and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. So we got to figure out. Dude, this is not going to be. We got to figure this thing out. I should not have agreed to that. But anyway, I didn't think there was any danger of me losing. But you're
still not.
As the pace that I'm going right
fine.
now, I'm now 22-28, which is no bueno. And college is killing me right now. So, all right, Neal, let's start with you. We started off on Thursday night. You had Western Kentucky -7 against Middle Tennessee, and they ran away with it.
They did.
Did you get a chance to watch any of that?
I just kept up with the score.
They kind of never. It was a close game for a little while, but they ended up extending away late. Did good there. Neal, your next game, you had the Maryland Terrapins -14.5.
My guys at University Park.
And
I'm fast becoming a Terrapin fan.
I am. I'm a Terrapin fan. They're a Quick U client.
Might get the Maryland jersey next.
Yeah, we can probably work that out. Indiana, also a Quick U client, struggled. 44-17. They win late. Tom Allen let go of Walt Bell as the offensive coordinator. So made a change there this week. So see how that goes. But Maryland this weekend has the showdown. Another free shot. They have a free shot.
Free shot
Saturday
in Columbus.
And in Columbus, 5-0 versus 5-0.
Nothing to lose.
What's the line? Do you know?
It's like 18.
Ooh.
Nothing to lose.
Ooh.
Nothing to lose. Nothing to lose.
Ooh. I may peek at that one. I'm going to put a little star on that one. What do you think? Are you going with them again this week? Because if you don't, I might.
I haven't decided. They've been awfully good to me. So I mean,
that will be in my pool, and I will not. I will leave them to you if they do. Did you put that on?
It's +19.
Did you put that on your picks?
On Neal's picks for the week, yes.
I bet you picked the Terrapins in that one, don't you?
You
cannot pick against Maryland at this point.
No, I'll take the points. See if you can get me a jersey.
Oh well. Jersey for Neal.
Jersey. Maryland jersey.
For Neal. I will make the call. All right.
Tell them I'll wear the jersey.
Wear the jersey.
Proudly.
Proudly.
They've been good to me.
They have been very good to you. All right, Neal. You already know we're going to the next game. Another team, or no, not yet. The UNLV Running Rebs.
Running Rebs?
Are they called the Running Rebs in football?
I'm not sure. They're playing really well. Barry Odom's done a really good job there.
Let me ask you a question. Barry Odom knocks it out of the park at UNLV. Does he get another shot? Because I didn't think he was doing that bad at Missouri.
Yeah, he probably does get another shot. I don't know if it's SEC level, but yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about, that's what I'm asking. Does he get a Power 5 shot?
Probably.
That was one I didn't
It's kind of like McElwain at Central Michigan. You kind of start looking at him going, why are y'all not putting him on some hot boards? I mean, the Florida thing got weird. Part of it was his fault, sure, but
was it really though?
Well, I mean, just some of the stuff he probably said. He probably lost his cool a little.
I agree, but the guy, he got fired in the middle of his third year after taking him to the SEC championship game 2 years in a row. So who's the asshole here?
Oh, no.
You know what I mean?
Again, like I said, and then you look at what he's doing at Central Michigan, and you're like, whoa.
Yep.
Maybe someone should pay some attention. But Odom's the same way. I mean, they're really good, and they just rolled Hawaii.
Yep, 44-20, and you had a -11, so that puts you at 3-0. And then to get to 4-0, Neal, you took the Air Force Falcons.
The Fighting Falcons.
The United States Air Force Academy.
Yep.
You were feeling very patriotic.
God bless America. Absolutely.
They took on also your team, They used to be your team. Now you're turning on them.
I'm just aware of them.
The San Diego State Aztecs.
Yep.
So you took the United States Air Force versus Aztec Nation.
I did.
You had a minus 10.5, and they won 49-10, Neal.
It's beautiful.
Easy cover.
Beautiful.
Easy cover.
Patriots.
Like, you didn't have any stress this weekend.
No, not really.
Like, literally, all 5 of these were no stress wins.
Yeah.
And then your last pick.
Boomer
Sooner. The Fighting Venables.
Yeah.
That, he's not going to make it through. He's not going to make it. He's not. Where y'all at? I think, let me tell you what happened. Those people left to start pulling for Colorado. They're just bandwagon people.
Well, there's these people that all right, I'll leave it at that. He inherited a different kind of program, so he had to have a transition year. He inherited Lincoln Riley's guys.
He had a big culture issue had to change.
He did. And he also felt like they had to get a lot more physical.
Well, he didn't. The other thing that people don't realize is he didn't inherit Lincoln Riley's good players. The good players left. He inherited Lincoln Riley's bad players that stayed and had nowhere else to go.
Right.
The quarterback, he was pretty good. He left.
Yeah, he was.
I'd like to see Jeff Lebby call plays with Caleb Williams at quarterback.
So would Jeff. But Jeff's doing a pretty good job with Dylan Gabriel.
How good would Oklahoma be right now if they had Caleb Williams at quarterback?
Oof. This Oklahoma.
Are they national champion? Are they a favorite?
They'd be in the mix.
Yeah.
Yeah. This Oklahoma-Texas game Saturday. We'll talk about it later in the week. This Oklahoma-Texas game is going to be wild.
Yeah. Oklahoma Quick Q clients. They've done a great job of retooling. So
Boomer.
I mean, they smoke. Also, another Quick Q client. Iowa State 50-20. Iowa State, dude, they've got so many guys out with this investigation. He's down players.
Yeah.
Like I get before the Matt Campbell stuff starts and all that stuff. I mean, like, he's got 5 players, including his quarterback, that can't play because of this gambling investigation. Right. I mean, he's playing with a spoon, with a hand tied behind his back. All right, Neal, and your money line, this was the one loss you had.
And I told you this was just me.
Yep,
me and rolling with my girls. I knew they'd be at the game, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to send a little karma their way. Maybe this will get a W, and it didn't work out. Texas A&M was really, really good on Saturday.
34-22.
And it really wasn't that.
Well,
close.
The one of them was a pick six on a bubble screen that the guy just didn't block somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. That was I was a little shocked a little bit though. I thought it would be closer.
I was a little surprised maybe that it got that way, but when you go back and watch what they're doing on defense, like Jeff said, just kind of letting those guys play, and those guys are good. Listen, Bama's offensive front's going to have its hands full this week, and whoever plays them down the road is going to have their hands full this week. I mean that they got some athletes, and now they're starting to roll them in a little bit, and they're negating that negative.
Yep.
And then, Smith gets the is it Anaya Smith? I think he returned a punt for a touchdown. I mean, they got athletes everywhere. This 5-star and that 5-star. And their roster's starting to play like it. And the quarterback played a really good game, really managed a good game. They can run the football. They're pretty good up front. He's got some receivers who can make plays. I thought for Arkansas, when they lost the freshman tight end on the first series, I thought for them that was a big blow.
Yep.
Second leading receiver and a big part of their red zone package.
Yep.
And they, had to settle for field goals, and a couple of those. It's like when you have the bases loaded and nobody out and you score one run,
you just feel weird.
You're like, I got the run, but I left some runs out there.
No doubt.
And I think for Arkansas, their chance to be in that game late disappeared early.
All right, I'll bump over to my college, and as we do that, I see Grind over in the Cooper Chevrolet chat said that West Virginia money line would have took you over the top. Yeah, I was regretting. That's the second week in a row that I've picked the wrong money. I've had them both in the pool. You saw it.
Mm-hmm.
I've had them both in the pool, and I picked the wrong one. I had a feeling about that West Virginia game. All right. Which is another guy that was on the hot seat that's slowly cooling that thing off in a hurry. Neal Brown at West Virginia.
Very much.
So I'm happy. I like Neal a lot
I do
as a human being.
Yeah.
He's a good dude and he's a good football coach. I'm glad it's worked out for him. All right, Neal, my college. We'll start off with the only dub I had in my college deal. I thought I was feeling really good on Friday night, my first college game.
Mm-hmm.
I went under happy this week, and I had the Oregon State Utah under at 44.5, and the final score was 21-7, so 28 points. Went way under. I'm sure you watched this game because I know that's your boys.
Yeah. I actually had a hard time watching Friday night football. It was weird.
Like Friday night college games?
Yeah.
Did you really?
I did. Just didn't feel right. But
it does feel off a little bit, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. The Rebels, the Chargers were off this weekend, so it made that easy viewing for me. So I got a chance to watch it. It was about what you thought, a very physical game. Cam Rising did not play again. So he was out there in pregame warm-ups like before. He put pads on, trying to move around. Makes you start to wonder a little bit. Like, why hasn't – and they were talking about, he may play the first game. We're 5 weeks in, cuz, and he hadn't put him on yet. So
all those ACLs, they don't all heal exactly the same way.
Makes you start to wonder, though. All right, are we getting to the point to where he's going to try to save a year? Because he's not an NFL guy. You know what I'm saying?
That's what they should do.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and save him for next year.
That's what they should do.
But we'll especially going to the Big 12 and all that stuff in the playoff era.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they're good on defense, man.
Oh, they are.
Dude, they get after the quarterback, both teams. And look, I'm going to say this about Oregon State. I love watching them play, but DJU, he ain't the guy. That guy, he cannot throw the football. He's very inaccurate and takes 45 minutes to get rid of the ball. All right.
That's a long time.
It is. It takes forever. All right, Neal, game we talked a little bit with Geoff about the Florida-Kentucky game. This game went over by 3 points. I had Florida, the under at 44 is 33-14, so 47 points. Florida did their job keeping it under. About what I thought both teams would do. I just did not expect – Ray Davis, it wasn't even about him. When I say they physically whipped people, they obviously did that up front. But when he was getting to the moment of truth and contact, he was moving people. Like, there's that clip. I forgot who. I think Clay was at the house we've been watching in the man cave. One of his first touchdowns, he gets hit at the 6-yard line and just takes the guy into the end zone. You know what I mean? Like, he was manhandling people.
Yeah.
Like, he was playing possessed.
Yeah.
And Florida was not. It was like 2 guys showed up for a fight, but only 1 guy was willing to fight. It was really lethargic defensively for Florida. They're already lethargic enough on offense. You can't have the defense show up either and expect to compete. That was bad on the defensive side from an effort standpoint. The next game I lost, I had Georgia at Auburn, 27-20. That goes
You were
over
close.
by 1 point.
You were close.
Full disclosure here, if I'd known Hugh was calling plays when I made this pick on Thursday, I probably would have picked another game. They did offensively. Look, I'll say this. Hugh, it was exciting to see Hugh back calling plays. It looked like 2012 again. He found a way to run the football, was running a lot of stutter read, a lot of counter read, a lot of power read with a quarterback. When they were pressed and they were loading the box, he was taking his 50-50 shot on downfield balls with go routes. It looked like the 2012, 13, 14 Ole Miss offense showed up at Jordan-Hare. Now, there's a week off. Okay, then they got to go play LSU.
Yep.
Okay, LSU is not world beaters on defense. Okay, we've seen that.
That's correct.
Which LSU brings in Pete Jenkins to help with the defensive line.
One of my favorite people.
He's one of the greatest human beings on the planet.
Awesome dude.
Awesome guy.
What a guy. When I was on the Auburn beat in my 20s, overwhelmed, terrified, Pete Jenkins was the 2 people on that beat on that staff that were so nice to me were Pete Jenkins and Bill Oliver. 2 guys that I'd heard, these are these gruff guys, and
greatest people on the planet, man.
Bill Oliver could not have been nicer to me, and Pete Jenkins may have been even nicer. He knew I was a Louisiana boy, and so we talked Louisiana stuff. And
now, Senator Tuberville, I wouldn't piss on him if he was on fire. I can't stand him. I got my own reasons.
I understand.
I really do. I could write a book. I could write a book on that one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw this fucking table. I can't stand him.
I understand.
I like everybody else, but he's one of the, there's 3 coaches in this profession that I despise, and he's got 1 spot of it. Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. But I was just going to say Pete Jenkins was.
Maraine's empty over here. Sorry.
Pete Jenkins was great. His wife was great. I mean, that was back in the day where you got to know people that you covered.
Yeah.
It's not like that anymore. But back then it was. And what a great guy.
Yeah.
He's been around forever.
He's out. I mean, he's out.
Yeah.
So here's the thing about Pete Jenkins, a lot of people don't realize. He has probably, for the profession of college football, he has probably, I would say, mentored more D-line coaches than any other D-line coach ever.
Yeah.
And he's so generous with his time, and he treats every single person he mentors the same as if, like, he'll treat the D-line coach at the New England Patriots the same exact way he treats the Tennessee Martin D-line coach.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about, Kevin Peoples, who's at Missouri. They're real close. Trey Scott, who was with us here, is now the D-line coach at Georgia. These are all Pete Jenkins disciples.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a gazillion of them around, right? Jimmy Brumbaugh, he coached when we were there.
Yeah, Coach Jimmy when I was covering Auburn.
He's one of the best technicians, and that's what he's kind of known for, is technique and hand placement and how he plays with his hands. But I really respect and like him a lot. But anyway, long story short, and Grind says, I'm glad Grind's in here. And that was kind of my point, what I was making in the summer, is Robbie Ashford's made. Now, Grind, now you see what I was saying. Robbie Ashford, when he got in there, with the way Hugh calls the plays, he didn't have a choice but to stick his head up in there. There wasn't any of this zone outside stuff. He ran he blew one up in there on Stutter Reed and just walked. I mean, just his explosion creates bad angles. Now, can he do the other stuff like we were talking about with Beck? Hey, take a gummy, relax. Hey, don't overthink this thing. It's really simple. Hey, I'm running Stutter Reed this way, and I look over there, and I got the safeties kicked. I got one-on-one coverage. Do I have a matchup my guy can win? Let's throw him a back shoulder ball. Like run the offense if he can do that. But look, now Auburn's got a bye week before they go play LSU. LSU's going to play man coverage every snap, which Lane took advantage of in the running game, which we'll talk about in a minute. But look, man, that gives them a chance. Peyton Thorne's not the guy, okay, but he probably understands what Hugh's trying to do more. But you saw even with him, you can run the ball a little bit with the quarterback and put pressure on the defense. I was kind of impressed a little bit, even though they didn't win on that. All right, last game, or the other game I had Alabama, Mississippi State under 47. I missed this one. This was not going under. I thought Mississippi State could slow Alabama down some on offense. They did not. Alabama looked really good, and they got a pick six. And once that pick six happened, the under went RIP. And Mississippi State scored more than I thought they would. They scored 17 points. Mississippi State probably put a little bit of a template along with Ole Miss a little bit that people aren't talking about. Alabama's got something with the and this system does in general, and they ran the same stuff Auburn was doing against Georgia too. When they put Wright in there at quarterback, and you can do some quarterback run things against Alabama, you can get some explosive runs running the quarterback. But they get 17 and beat them there. I lost my money line. I had South Carolina beating Tennessee.
Yeah, that was not no.
Jeez, man, Christmas,
man.
They
did not.
They never
Tennessee.
were in the game.
No.
After the first possession, they jumped up on them, and that was about it. I was feeling good there for about the first 7 minutes of the game. And then you just saw this little thing called momentum. And look, everybody's going to be sucking off Tennessee all week too. Now, look, Joe Milton's over there throwing. They're like, "Oh, look at that! We threw a deep ball. That was a terrible ball. It should have been picked. Terrible ball. He's terrible. I'm not on this Tennessee train. I'm down on Tennessee, even though they won. Who they got this week? Are they off?
Tennessee's got they're off.
They're off?
Yeah.
All right, hang on. We got a special guest for this last one.
Oh, God. Surprised he showed up today, honestly. I didn't think we'd get a visit after this disaster in Boulder.
Hello, Scoops.
Hello, Joker.
Rough week for the old Joker.
It was.
The Joker took USC minus 21.5, and for 3 quarters, we were going in the direction that we wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
But even the Joker got let down by the USC defense. And now, Neal, the sad part is all across America, we're celebrating participation trophies.
Joker, if you can't see what's being built at Boulder, maybe you're just a hater.
It's participation trophies. Congratulations. Congratulations, I guess. You covered the spread, but you still lost. I mean, congratulations. I mean, it's participation trophies. But I wouldn't expect anything less out of Boulder, Colorado than participation trophies. I mean, I'm sure we're wearing masks. We're taking shots. We're doing all that stuff. We're past the 5-minute mark. We're doing all that stuff. So let's get participation trophies too. Congratulations. You scored against the worst defense that's ever been assembled. USC, I'm very disappointed in your attempt on the Joker, but what would I expect from California? So I guess we're just passing out participation trophies. Congratulations. Yeah. Your medals are your medals and your consolation bracket rings are in the mail.
They covered.
Congratulations. So this week, I think they got Arizona State this week at Arizona. maybe we'll send you some more participation trophies. It may get personal this week. They may have a chance. It may get back to being personal this week. But
it's Arizona State this week, right?
Arizona State. What'd I say?
You said Arizona.
Arizona State. It may get personal this week. But it's only personal until you get your participation trophies and your little medals. I'll tell you what, I'm sure that Drew's got some 8-year-old baseball games to go to where I can go steal some of those participation rings and medals for finishing 47th place out of 47 teams. I'll mail those to Boulder so you can give them out to Dion and all the team. Congratulations on your participation trophy. You still lost. You're 4-2. See you guys later. See you, Scoops.
See you, Joker. That's the Joker. His team, USC, did not cover.
They did not cover.
21-point line.
Dude, with that game, all kidding aside, USC's defense, that was bad.
Yeah, it's a problem for them. It's going to be the fatal flaw for them.
They can't run. You know, I was really thinking they were turning the table, but they just went back. Like, they started playing off coverage again. I mean, it was wild. They're not going to be able to. They're going to lose a game.
Yes.
And I mean, they got Oregon, you got Washington State, you got Oregon State, you got. They can't do that. They can't give up points like that.
They're not running the table.
No.
No.
Not going to run the table there.
No, sir.
All right, Neal. A couple before we move to the NFL. A couple college games, really only two that wasn't on our sheet that we'll talk about. Missouri, and this will be quick. Missouri beats Vanderbilt 38-21. That's 2 weeks in a row I did not go against Vandy.
Yeah. And
2 weeks in a row they did not cover. It's been like, I don't know if they've covered yet.
I don't think they have.
So that was stupid on my part, me trying to get cute with my unders. I will not.
Yeah, I'm done with Vandy. I'm just going to, like in picks, I'm just picking Vandy to.
I don't think they've covered yet.
I don't think they have. I'm going the other way on them, and if they cover 1 week, so be it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to figure out what week it's coming. I'll just let it be.
Right. And then went to the Ole Miss LSU game with my boys on Saturday.
Yeah.
And seriously, that was the best football game I've ever been to. Had a blast with my kids. They enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Environment was unbelievable. Probably the best environment I've seen in that stadium. Maybe that, especially after a win. Maybe
yeah, I've only seen one that was comparable. Alabama in 14.
Yeah, I wasn't here. Well, I guess I was here. I was on the other sideline. Yeah, that was wild. I was on the other sideline though. The 2012 Egg Bowl was awesome. You know, our first Egg Bowl was a great environment, but that was really good. And I want to talk a little bit about this. I saw Cole Kublik. He does I think a show on Monday nights, and he had sent me I guess an all 22 copy or a tight copy of a run play and some of the things, because where I was sitting, I couldn't see some intricacies of scheme that he was running. Like we talked about last week, and he did it. Maybe Lane's listening to the show too. I thought Ole Miss the first time they started leaning on zones, gap scheme instead of zone scheme.
Yeah,
creating double teams, ran a ton of counter. But he had a play like he does Lane. Everybody thinks Lane Kiffin, and you think throwing the ball and all that stuff. He is one of the best schemers of run game.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so when I tell you this play, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. It was like he was doing tournament, had a dart under center, and tossed it to Quinshon like a toss sweep from under center. So when he did that, he had the tight end off the ball. They were in man coverage, okay? And LSU was taking the 4-eye. They were an odd front. That means a 0 nose and 2 4-eyes with 2 outside backers. And they were taking the 4-eye, and they were bringing him. He's supposed to be in B gap, but they were moving him all the way to front side A gap. And so he was catching him in man coverage. There was a safety that was walked down, number 14. So he was walked down to handle the B gap. So Lane, at the snap of the ball, takes the tight end and sends him all the way across the formation to kick out Perkins on the other side, because he was doing a bunch of stuff to mess with Perkins. Sends him across the formation at the snap. That takes the safety because he has Perkins in man coverage. And so you're blocking 2 players with 1 guy with not having to block him. So 14 goes across the top. They let the guy rush up the field, and so the tackle just let him rush up the field and kick him. And then the left guard knew that the 4-eye was coming across his face, and we call it slowing. He just purposely let him beat him across his face and then just slam the door on him. And then you're just pitching to Quinshon with nobody home. And so they did and that was just a really good call, good especially for that defense, because they were just playing man free the whole time. He did some other things. The first touchdown to Quinshawn, I saw today when I was trying to watch back for some penalty stuff. The first touch, because I was like, where I was sitting, I was like, how the hell did he get so open? Well, they brought Quinshawn in motion from the outside, and they didn't kick the coverage. They were just running a slow linebacker all the way across the field with Quinshawn. He got called up on trash. And they just basically ran a pick without picking him. He couldn't get there. There was nobody left. And so that's where, in some mesh routes, 19 called a mesh route.
Yeah.
They were getting caught up in trash because they wasn't passing it off. They were trailing. So did a really good job scheming them there. Nobody was stopping anybody. Defensively, Ole Miss has got issues, and I think most of the issues stem from this. They were very, 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 very vanilla on what they were doing on defense. Played a lot of too high, about every version of cover 7 you can possibly play. And I think the reason for that is the less you do, and Jeff's talked about it on here before, the less you do, you can let your guys play faster.
Yeah.
LSU was doing a ton of motioning and things like that, changing the picture on them, but played a ton of that. And if I had one complaint, if I was sitting there, if I had one complaint to do, at some point in time, you just got to say screw it and line up and play cover 0 and bring the house on early downs. LSU had 34 first downs in that game.
Yeah.
Only 5 of those were third down conversions. So that tells me that they were having a ton of success on first and second down. Mm-hmm. So in your early downs, instead of playing so base, because they're scoring and moving the ball anyway, you might as well, somebody's band needs to be playing. Try to get them a negative play. But look, that was 2 really good offenses going at each other. But from a schematic side, on the Ole Miss side, I thought they did some really good things in the running game. And like we've talked about here before, if Lane can get the running game going, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And that's what they did, in my opinion.
Yeah, they were very balanced.
Very, very, very balanced. All right, just a couple of national games of interest. Texas took care of business, which shocked me a little bit. I thought it'd be a little closer to this, but they dominated the game 40-14 at Kansas. And then Notre Dame beats Duke and covers somehow. And the 2 big things out of this game was, Duke's really dominating the whole game. Last possession, Notre Dame has 4th and 16. 4th and 16. Duke gets a stop. They win the game. But right at the end of the game, and Sam Hartman rolled out the pass, rolled, and pulled a Patrick Mahomes and just took off running on 4th and 16 and made it. And that they ended up the very next play with 30 seconds to go. They score and score to win and score to cover, and win 21-14. And then at the very last play of the game, Riley Leonard gets hurt. Probably got a high ankle sprain. He's gonna miss some time. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's probably gonna hurt Duke.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving forward for a little bit, he'll probably be out for a little extended period of time. All right, Neal, finishing this bad boy up. NFL, you and I both had the Detroit Lions -2 on Thursday night. That was free money. They just dominated the game. Jordan Love, in my opinion, is starting to hit a little bit of a wall. A little bit of a wall. Be interested to see what happens moving forward. But, dude, the Lions are good, man.
Oh, the Lions are good.
Lions are good.
Goff's playing really well.
You got Goff's playing well.
Mm-hmm.
Montgomery's playing out of his mind. Mm-hmm. And they cover easy. They win 34-20. All right, in the game I was actually surprised about, you had the Dolphins +2.5. They get annihilated.
Yeah, they did.
They lose.
Buffalo played really well.
48-20. Buffalo played damn near perfect.
Yeah. Didn't see that coming.
Didn't see that one coming. And it took a while. They just didn't miss. You know what I mean? They just kept scoring, and
yeah.
They slowed Miami down enough to get the possessions off there. All right, you and I both had the Pittsburgh Steelers -2.5. They get absolutely destroyed by the Houston Texans, 30-6.
D'Amico Ryans has done a really good job in a short period of time in Houston. They played really hard. The young quarterback, he does some good things. Stroud,
C.J. Stroud,
he does some good things.
He's probably done the best of all the rookies right
Richardson. God, I loved what Richardson did yesterday.
I'm still not there yet.
Okay.
I'm with you, though. I mean, he does run around. But the Steelers should have taken advantage. They had both tackles were out. Laramie's been out for 3rd straight week. They've had both. They had matchup advantages that they did not take care of, and they're atrocious on offense.
Yeah.
All right, here's what I want to talk to you about. Our Cincinnati Bengals are straight up in trouble. They were favored by 2.5.
They're done.
They lose 27-3.
And it wasn't even that close.
It wasn't even that close.
Look, Burrow's hurt. Can't throw down the field. They can't move him in the pocket. It's putting the offensive line in a really tough spot. They're not able to run the ball consistently. This is all about Burrow's health. Right now, he's not helping them by playing. He needs to go get well. And if they, at the end of it, look up and it's too late, then it's just too late. It's a lost season. But right now, he's not helping them any.
Yeah, you can see some frustration.
I'm a Burrow guy, but he can't.
It's not the same.
He can't get anything down the field. He can't move. He's hurt. He's going to have to go get well. And that might take 4 weeks. But they're better off letting him sit 4 weeks. I think they have a bye week coming up in the next 2 or 3. See if you can't win 1 or 2 games with someone else. And if you can't, you're out. But if you can, maybe you can hang in there and you can make some noise as a wild card team in the playoffs. But right now, they're done. What they're doing right now is they have no chance.
Yeah.
And then look, Tannehill played a lot better. Kudos. But when you know defensively that your offense can't score, it's hard.
All right, going to Cooper Chevrolet chat. Jay Mose says, Tyler, your mom is in my office. Keep it clean, she said. Oh boy. She's not listening. My dad takes care of me. He skips around the parts when I start saying ugly words. All right. You had the Vikings -4.5. Selfishly, I was pulling against you here because this was one of the last games. And I almost got a backdoor McCready because I needed some help on the units back part. Vikings hold on, win 21-13. The Panthers were driving to score.
Drew up a couple of blitzes.
Knocked them out of range.
Smith, 22. Yep. Made a couple of big plays.
Vikings schedule, man, they may end up winning some games. They're not very good. I'm not on the Vikings train yet.
Speaking of young quarterbacks who aren't ready, he's not ready.
He's not ready.
He's not ready.
Not ready.
He's not.
Going to be fine, though.
Oh, I'm a big Bryce Young guy, but he's
He'll
not.
Be fine.
He's not ready right now.
Not ready. Not ready.
You can see it when you watch the other ones, and some of it is he doesn't have a lot to work with, and they're asking him to kind of do everything, as opposed to the people in Indianapolis are putting Richardson in spots to succeed.
Yep, I agree. All right, Neal. I had the lines already talked about it. All right, I had the Jaguars. This is going to make my friend GJG. He probably has not showed up today. GJG is probably like non-existent because he saw the score. I had the Jaguars. I crushed in the NFL. I went 4-1 in the NFL. My only loss was the Steelers game that I had with you.
Yeah.
The rest of them I won. I had the Jaguars -3 in London with teas and crumpets, and they beat the shit out of the Falcons. That was embarrassing. Look, and this is the Falcons team I've been telling y'all about. They faked us out. They did. They played some bad opponents at the beginning. Everybody's like, oh, they're so good. No, they're terrible. Desmond Ridder cannot – they don't have a playmaker. They're terrible. Kyle Pitts is like Trigg. He doesn't know where to line up half the time. He is just a great talent that's just out there running around. He's terrible. Your quarterback can't play dead in a Western. He's terrible. That was embarrassing what happened. Now their defense is legit. They do have a good defense. But offensively, they're terrible. They got to do something at the quarterback position. And my man Bob, who said, I think Bob in the Cooper Chevrolet chat, Bob Ricardo's in Cooper Chevrolet chat. He told me the other day, he goes, watch for the Falcons to trade for Justin Fields. Probably wouldn't be bringing back home. I could see that. But Bob, that ain't gonna help much. I'm just joking. Bob's a big Bears fan.
Well, Fields needs to go. So again, it's the same thing. You're going to have to put Fields someplace where they'll call a game for him. You can't say, hey, Justin, come be this kind of quarterback that you're not.
Yeah.
It's like taking an off-speed pitcher, a guy who's a knuckleballer.
There's GJG.
And going, hey, throw fastballs. Well, that's not what he's there for.
No, he's not.
You're asking, you're going to have to take a page from whoever calls offenses that cater to the quarterback. Justin Fields has talent, but you have to let Justin Fields play his game. He's not going to be a sit in the pocket, go through his progressions passer. It's not going to happen.
GJG said He showed up. He's here. He said he'll take any in a Cooper Chevrolet chat. Said he would take anybody other than Ritter. He is terrible. And look, but John Robinson, real player.
Oh, for sure,
legit.
Yeah.
He's arguably. I mean, like, get that guy some touches.
And I would think the Bears would trade Fields right now. I would think they would do it today.
They're tanking on their own though. They may need to keep him in place so they can get that number 1 pick. All right, I had the Rams.
Listen, if I'm a Bears personnel at this point, I mean, I know you don't play to lose, if you will, but you got to say to people, hey, we do not need to accidentally win 3 games.
I don't think they can.
Well, if you ever in a situation where it looks like you might, you need to stop because they need to walk away from this draft with Caleb Williams in their pocket.
He's good, by the way.
Oh, he's very, very good. They need to walk away with Caleb Williams.
Some of those throws he's making. Oh. All right, I had the Rams -1. I actually got it to pick them on Sunday, but they didn't need it. This game right here gave me stress, man. They had a huge lead. And then just went. They all of a sudden couldn't protect the quarterback. Stafford hurt, rolled his ankle or something and couldn't move in the pocket, which he can't move anyway. He doesn't need another thing making him a statue. And they were getting after his ass late. Anthony Richardson, to his credit, drove them down the field.
He did.
Take it to overtime. And then, look, man, Nico, this rookie receiver from BYU that missed a lot of the time last year was an injury. This he's setting records. I mean,
yeah. That was his first NFL touchdown.
Everybody in him. That was the other night.
Mm-hmm.
He's caught 38 balls. That's
his
first one.
First touchdown.
Well, dude, Stafford closes his eyes. That's like, dude, that has. I mean, he's like close his eyes and throw it to him. I mean, he's always open. Made the play, walks it off with a dub in overtime. For me to cover that one, and then one of the easiest covers of all time. I'm really shocked about this because the matchup was just not there. The Cowboys absolutely annihilate the Patriots 38-3 to the point where he takes Mac Jones out in the third quarter. Because it was just that was that big of a waste, and they win there. Last bit, games that went on the sheet that had storylines, which we talked about. The Broncos were down. The Bears were beating the Broncos 28-7 with 4 minutes left to go in the third quarter, and the Broncos come back and beat the Bears 31-28. That made my man Bob very happy. I'm joking; he was not very happy yesterday with that. Buccaneers beat the Saints. 26-9. Here's the thing. If you're a Saints fan, which I know we have a bunch in here just by location, this Derek Carr injury is something to keep an eye on. He's got an AC sprain in his throwing shoulder. He gets that thing shot up. It's very similar to what Bo Wallace had when we were here. I've had 2 quarterbacks go through it. You can shoot them up, and they can play on Saturday. They have a tough time practicing. But the problem having this injury this early in the season is as the season goes on, your arm's going to get weaker and weaker and weaker. And then the biggest issue you find is later in the year, those throws that you're trying to make on comebacks, on out routes are slow and they get picked off because they don't have the same zip.
And you're going to get into the weather here soon. We're starting to get cooler and you can't get as loose and maybe there's some wind.
He ain't feeling nothing.
Can't throw it through the wind. And
just arm strength will gradually dissipate as the season goes on. So that doesn't bode well for the Saints unless I don't know. That one's wild. Last night, to complete a big parlay for me, I had the Chiefs money line against the Jets. That's all I needed, and they scared the shit out of me.
Did you hear Taylor Swift was there?
Was she?
Yeah, she was there.
Dude, seriously, I had two Sunday night football moments last night.
Mm-hmm.
The first one was I was helping my wife do something. I don't remember what it was, and I've trained my kids right because Knox, my 7-year-old, goes, "Daddy, Daddy," she's singing the song. And so I ran in the living room. We had her hand over her heart as Carrie Underwood sang the song, the Sunday night anthem.
Yeah.
My wife was not very happy with me for doing that.
I understand.
And then right after that, I literally said out loud, I said, "I'll bet you $10 Neal McCready turns this game off." And she says, "Why?" I said, "Well, the whole pregame was about Taylor Swift being there."
Mm-hmm.
Followed, I didn't know if you noticed this or not. This was right up your alley. This is the part where I said Neal was going to turn this game off. Followed by the first commercial after they talked about it in pregame was about her touring. Followed by a Pfizer commercial with Kelsey not having one Band-Aid on. But two. And I said, Neal has turned the TV off.
Yeah, I was done.
Did you turn it off right now?
Around that time.
I said they lost Neal.
They did.
And my wife said, "What are you talking about?" And I told her. She laughed. But yeah, I knew that that would lose you.
There's no way that's a real relationship. No way. No way. No way.
Not buying it?
This is orchestrated.
Not buying it?
Not buying it at all. But I cannot wait till they break up. It's going to be awesome.
How much do we what's the dead period in the NFL? There's not much. So we're going to say between the end of the season and the draft, they break up? Because it's not happening during the season.
No. She's going to be at the Super Bowl if they're there. And please let them not be there. This could ruin a Super Bowl.
What if she breaks up with him? What if it's a scam and it's like the Chiefs?
Well, there's a TikToker that thinks that's what this is.
How about this?
Have you seen that? The girl? She's a super Chiefs fan, and she's convinced that this is a ploy by the Eagles.
That's what I'm saying. She's a
Philadelphia
Eagles fan.
She's convinced this is a ploy by the Eagles to get him heartbroken the week of the Super Bowl where he just can't focus, or to get her to dump him at the Super Bowl, at the game itself, in pregame. Announce it on TV that
she goes to sing the national anthem.
Or to ghost him that week.
What if she sings the national anthem and does it over the microphone during the national anthem?
Or instead of the land of the free and the home of the Braves, she says the land of the free and the home of the Eagles. Take that, Travis.
Yes.
And then announces that she's dating one of the Eagles.
I'm secretly dating your brother.
Oh, wow. Well, he's married.
Breaks up the family, breaks up the marriage.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. But maybe she dates, like, I don't know, one of the other players. Is
Jalen Hurts.
Is he married?
No. Or who?
Hurts.
I don't think so, no.
There you go. That would be the only thing that could salvage a Chiefs Super Bowl right now.
I can see it.
It was one of the good things about Buffalo yesterday. Miami, there's some options. Anybody but the Chiefs.
All right, Neal, as we close this bad boy up, tonight I'm putting my perfect Monday and Thursday night football record of the year on the line tonight.
Okay.
No pressure. I've won every single Monday night.
Seattle, New York.
Seattle is on the road facing the New York Giants, and I'm glad I'm going to look at this. This line was moving heavily this morning. I got it before it started moving. So I've already bet. It's at 2.5. I've already bet it at 1.5. I think Seattle's the better team. Saquon's not playing. I think Seattle's got – if Seattle has the key to the game tonight, they have to stop the run. They're on the road. But I got Seattle minus 1.5 tonight with the Giants. The total is 46.5. I do not hate the over.
Okay.
But I'm not betting the over. I've already bet a unit on the Seattle Seahawks minus 1.5 at the Giants tonight. So I think this would put me at 5, 6, 7, 8, 0-1 on Monday and Thursday night games if I can hit tonight.
All right. Well, good luck to you.
Put my record on the line.
I have no thoughts on tonight's game. I have no feeling on that game at all. Zero.
So if it doesn't hit, I just jinx myself by saying that I'm 8-0-1, I think, on Monday and Thursday night games.
I'll turn it on in the background probably and get some rebelgrove.com work done. Get ahead of it a little bit. It'll be on. I doubt if I pay much attention to it.
A man Noxie is making his 7U flag football debut tonight.
Oh yeah,
for the Bengals. Is their team.
Bengals.
They'll probably play a little bit better than they'll probably score more points than the real Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
Just give it to my man Noxie on speed sweep.
The Bengals look like Iowa.
Dude,
get a field goal. Just settle down.
Dude, Iowa.
Bad.
It's bad, dude.
Yep.
All right, that's all I got today, boss.
All right, we'll wrap it up there. We'll be back tomorrow with another edition of the show. We'll talk. We'll dive into the slate ahead in college football a little bit. We've been brought to you by Rain Total Body Fuel, 300 milligrams natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits and achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more.
And again, appreciate everybody in the Cooper Chevrolet chat. And remind everybody to check out East Alabama's largest selection of used Chevy, Buick, and quality pre-owned today at Cooper Chevrolet Buick in Anniston, or shop online at cooperchevrolet.com.
So until tomorrow, for Tyler, I'm Neal. Take care.